We are neither nutritionists or medical providers. The topics discussed on this show are from our own research and experiences. Please consult your medical provider before attempting anything discussed on this show. Welcome to another episode of
Sjogren Strong. This is Brian.
And this is Lupe.
And this is your weekly podcast discussing how to live an active and healthy lifestyle despite having a diagnosis of Sjogren's syndrome.
So, before you ask, Brian, I'm still a little sore.
And why are you sore?
Well, okay. As you all know, we live in Southern California, and there's been earthquakes. We had one the 4th of July, and we had a bigger one the following day. And in light of those events, I was talking to Brian, and we actually inventoried and evaluated all of our supplies that we had. And I said to myself, we should talk about this with our listeners.
So what we're going to do is talk about what we've done for the last 10 years and share this with you in case you haven't thought about this, or a gentle reminder that maybe it's time to take a look at your situation, and or the light bulb moment, ooh, I'm on new meds. My new meds should be in my supplies.
Correct. So for me, as you all know, I keep my my survival kit in my car. And I also have a few days worth of supplies that I carry with me every day, everywhere I go, in my purse. I have about 3 to 5 days worth of meds at work in my desk. On top of the meds that I have at home, maybe I have about 30 days supply at home. And that's including everything from eye drops to the meds that I'm taking, to gels, everything that I use to manage my Sjogren's.
Yeah, and that includes over-the-counter stuff as well. So, Visine-type eye drops or, nasal gels just to keep your nostrils moist. It doesn't have to be just prescription meds, but we keep, and not to turn this into a prepper show, but we have food and water in reserve. So worst case scenario happens, we can't get to a store, we're going to be okay. And I think the most difficult part of this is medications. They typically have different expiration dates. You might change meds out where a doctor discontinues this med and prescribes a new med. So when those types of things happen, you need to think about the meds in your emergency kits as well. So getting a few extra days on a script and saving them up so you have a reserve is step one. And then step two, getting them in your kits, dating the outside of whatever box, carton, bag that they're in so it's just a quick visual reminder, I need to give this bag some attention, something in it's expiring. But it is good to do. And again, here in Southern California, we have seismic activity. In other parts of the country, you might be concerned with hurricanes or snowstorms or tornadoes or whatnot. The floods throughout the Midwest that we've been experiencing here in the States. So no matter what the emergency or natural disaster may be, preparedness is all the same. If something happens when we're at work, I know we've got 3 days to get her to her vehicle, which hopefully will never take 3 days. Once we're in the vehicle, we've bought us a good week to get that vehicle home to where more medications are. But that's the type of thinking we've deployed. We've never had to use it other than, say, we go on a road trip, spur of the moment, let's take off for a few days. Well, we know we're good. We don't have to pack meds with our clothes. She can just use the meds that are already in the bag in the car and then replace them with fresher meds with a farther out expiration date.
That was a lot of rambling.
It was.
The reason why I wanted to talk about this is me, for example, and I'm just going to use this as an example. When we go on road trips or vacations or wherever we're going that we're going to be out of the house for a while, it actually takes me a couple of days to pack. Even if we're just going for the weekend, I don't know why I stress out about it. It takes me a couple of days to pack. And I can't even imagine what's going to be going through my head when we have to rush out for an emergency. You know what I mean? For example, when the second earthquake hit, okay, we had to on the 4th of July. What was it, Brian? Just a little roller. It just lasted. It seemed like maybe 30 seconds, maybe less.
It was over 100 miles away from us. But by the time it got to us, it was just a little rolling. Kind of felt like you were on a boat, maybe in a harbor, and a little wakes going by. And it did last a while. I would say over 60 seconds.
And we were sitting down, so I mean, it didn't really affect you that much. When you're standing, you kind of have that motion sickness feeling. The second one that hit, we were at home also. We were watching TV, and it started shaking. And at first, I thought it was Brian just shaking his legs, but it kept going and going. And we just looked at each other like, oh, hold up, wait a minute. And it just got progressively stronger. And then next thing you know, because we're just sitting there like, whatevs, we experience these all the time. But then the bookshelves, they kind of started shaking. Stuff started flying off the shelves. And that's when we just jumped up.
Yeah, about halfway through it, there was a good jolt that took things off the bookshelf. The dogs actually got up. Our dogs are even used to earthquakes. They didn't even lift their heads when it started. But when that jolt hit, I was on my feet. Stuff started falling. The dogs got up. But
well, my point is, in a situation like that, you just want to get to safety. The last thing you're thinking about is your meds. You know what I mean? And meds are important, especially if you're going to have limited access to them, regardless of whatever situation you're in. So,
I mean, your meds could become even more important if your water intake's going to decrease because there's limited access to water.
So for me, I can go 3 days without meds and I'm fine. But after 3 days, my body starts aching so bad to where I don't even want to get out of bed. I'm in a fetal position. I'm just in so much pain. It's very debilitating for me. So I can't imagine. I can't imagine going more than 3 days without my meds. That's why it's important to have them ready.
Yeah, and again, no matter where you live, there's a possibility for some sort of natural disaster and or emergency. So over the course of the weekend, we did take the time to check our water storage. Everything's intact. Nothing's been damaged. All is well. Food storage, everything's good. Nothing's expired. Everything's intact. And then beds. And something that we do, we keep some stuff in the house, some stuff in the garage, some stuff in vehicles, some stuff at work. So it's kind of spread out as well. So say in our example, if the garage collapses, we still have stuff in the house. If the house collapses, we still have stuff in the garage. If both collapse, we get to work. We've got stuff at work.
They're not connected, but you don't know when it's going to happen. You don't know where you're going to be. So very important to be prepared, especially with your meds and water.
Definitely, especially water for everybody listening. The simplest thing to do. Most of us use bleach for laundry. When that bottle's empty, rinse it out quickly and then fill it with water. Put the cap on tight. There's going to be a little bleach residual in that bottle, which will keep bad stuff from growing, and stick it on a shelf. There's a gallon of water at the ready. You might taste bleachy, but it's safe to drink and you're good to go.
Can you just use like the bottle of Tide instead? I'm just thinking, hello.
You can use any bottle. If it's not bleach, rinse it out really well. But adding a couple of drops of bleach to a gallon of water is going to keep fungus and mold and stuff from growing in it.
That's crazy. I never thought about that. I would totally use a gallon of milk, but I see where you're going.
Yeah. And again, rinse it out well. Add a little bit of bleach. You're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition, we hike, so we have water filtration systems. So we can go down to storm drain runoff and pull water and filter, and we'll be fine.
I mean, hopefully we won't find ourselves in a situation, anybody. We hope nobody finds themselves in a situation where they need to filter water, but it's good to have.
Definitely. For you, our listeners, let us know if this episode was helpful at all. Number one. Number two, let us know what you do. Maybe you've got some cool tip trick that you can share with us in the group and help us better prepare in case there is some sort of natural disaster.
I don't know if this topic applies, but I think it would, because no matter where you live, something can happen. Mother Nature, sometimes she gets angry, and natural disasters happen. So it's always good to be prepared.
Definitely. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Moi? I just had a thought. In addition to your meds and water and food, I think it's also very important, depending on the weather. If it's cold, do you have blankets? Do you have jackets? Something that's going to keep you warm so your body doesn't ache. Because I know when I'm cold, my body aches. If it's during the summer, do you have lightweight clothes to keep you cool? You also need to think about that. I like wearing wool socks in the winter. It keeps my bones. I'm going to say bones because that's where I feel my pain. Wool socks help keep my body warm. And what do you call it, Brian? A stocking cap? A beanie? Those things are great for me. Your socks and a beanie, because warmth escapes, right? From there? Take it away. Explain it.
Yeah, when it's cold, we lose a great percentage of body heat through our uncovered head. So having something to cover your head is worth its weight in gold.
And if you're cold and you cover your head, oh my God, the world of difference.
Yep. And that's a good pull, Lupe. Wicking, lightweight, comfortable, cooling clothes, and then blankets when you get cold. Because when she gets cold, it's, oh, I can't reach the remote.
Don't be such an exaggerator. You know, I did want to say one thing. When we had that earthquake, the second one, as soon as I get home, I kick off my shoes. I just love walking around barefoot. And I was actually barefoot. And when stuff started flying off the shelves, I jumped up, and the first thing I did, I put my tennis shoes on, and I actually slept in my tennis shoes because, I mean, you don't know what's going to fall, and there's going to be glass, all over the place. So very important. Also shoes. I always have an extra pair in my car because I like walking during lunch, and sometimes I'm not wearing walking shoes. So, I'm covered there. So that's important too. Stuff that people, I don't think they maybe think about sometimes.
And you can see that picture on our Facebook page.
Actually, I didn't post it on Facebook. I posted it on Instagram.
And you can see that picture on our Instagram page.
It's at Sjogrens_strong. That's our Instagram. But anyways.
All good advice, and we'd love to hear any and all advice from you. You can email us. You can hit us up on Facebook or Instagram and share with us what you may do for your preparedness with Sjogrens.
Yeah, I hope we didn't get off topic, but I thought it was good to talk about.
Definitely.
As you know, we're participating in the Sjogrens Walk in October this year. If you'd like to join us, we'd love to meet everybody. It's going to be in LA. And if you can't join us, you could support us. There's going to be a link in the show notes. And you could join our Living Sjogren Strong group, or you could participate on your own, or just donate a little bit if you can.
And if you're not in a position to donate financially to the Sjogren's Syndrome Foundation, please share our links along your social media. Maybe somebody else can. We have a team goal. We have individual goals. But we'd really like to show up for the Sjogren's Syndrome Foundation. So again, that link will be in the show notes. And Lupe's not even aware of this.
What?
Sjogren's Strong, the podcast, has been nominated for a People's Choice Award.
What?
So our name, the Sjogren's Strong podcast, is nominated. Now it's up to you, our listeners, to give us votes. We are in the health and wellness category, and there will be a link in the show notes below. And we will also do a social campaign, probably Thursday, Friday, sharing this link with everybody. You do have to give your name and email address. You have to verify that that is your email address, and that's just to keep the voting fair. And then once that is done, you can actually vote for a podcast in each category. When you get to health and wellness, we hope you vote for Sjogren Strong. And I'll even go as far as this. If there's a podcast out there that you find more value to and you decide to vote for them, we respect that. Please send us an email You don't have to tell us what show, but give us some constructive criticism so we can make this show better.
That's actually very exciting. Why have you been holding out on me?
Well, nominations just announced on July 1st, and last week I was pretty busy, so we're getting it out this week. And again, we're going to have social campaigns sharing this with everybody, but we would definitely appreciate you taking the time to verify your email and vote for the Sjogren Strong podcast.
Yay, that's exciting.
It is. It's kind of a cool thing.
Who nominates you?
Anybody can nominate anybody. So
All
we've
right.
been nominated.
That's good. That means that we're doing good work, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, it's definitely not a negative. It's a positive.
Good. I'm excited.
So we've got lots of links in these show notes, and please visit them and let us know what we can do better for you. And anything else?
I don't know. You kind of stumped me, so I don't have much to say.
She's speechless.
What? That's exciting. Can you see my smile?
I can see your smile.
Yes.
All right.
Until next time, sip constantly and stay hydrated.